but everything, they say everything happens for a reason. It's because of that led me to this path. Now that I'm an artist, I can display what I've learned in my life, which is not the artistic route, the tech, the business, but also a lot of grit and hard work. And that's my paintings. So,
hello, my name is Brandi Hofer. Welcome to the Color Me Happy podcast. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful for your time. You are going to feel so empowered with our episodes and our guests because they live a truly passionate life. They're excited about what they do. They know that creativity matters and that your art matters and that it matters to following your passion in life to ultimately see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. These episodes are almost unedited, very raw, so it'll feel like you're sitting down for coffee with a friend. Feel free to reach out anytime at Brandi Hofer Studios on Instagram and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for being here.
Right. There we go. So welcome, Shirley. And that's your artwork behind you, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely stunning.
Thank you so much. They're my glorious ladies, and they feel the energy of the room, so it makes me a little taller.
Yeah, they're very empowering and strong. Is that actual gold leaf in them that you're using?
Yeah, it's 24 karat gold leaf, and oh my gosh, they're so expensive now. The price of gold went up probably 1.5 to 2 times since I started my practice.
So that means your art can also go up in value.
In theory, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what that means.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so everyone who owns a Shirley piece already, it's like almost,
hey, it's a
really grown in value.
Right?
Absolutely. Good for you. So I want to hear about your journey getting into your creative process, because obviously you have a lot of style and flow and it's very iconic, and like what inspired that genre for you to dive into, how long you've been doing it, all that. I'm sure everyone's very curious as well. And we're both mothers navigating through the art world, so I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about on that subject. So I'm very excited you're here. Thank you so much. Okay, so did you go to art school? That's the first little question.
Art school of life. I mean, I did not go to traditional art school, but I did seek out and hunt down these gilding masters around the world. Some of them took me like 6 months just to like chase him and like confirm a Zoom date and just say, please, teach me your ways. And because, it's so delicate, the gold leaf and gilding process. This is dura aguazo is what they call it in Italian. And it's a 13th, 14th century gilding technique where you don't use glue, right? You make it, you create your own adhesive, but everything is very raw material, and the temperature or the humidity, like even your breath can really impact the end product. So you can't just watch YouTube and then say, oh, okay, this is how you do it. So I did have to chase masters around the world to give me those lessons over Zoom. And thank God for technology, we're able to do this now. So I didn't have to travel to Scotland or New York or anything for that.
Even though that would have been really cool anyway.
Yeah. But my kiddos, I can't leave. I mean,
no,
great. I'd love to say, hey, give me a week off. I'm going to New York, but my husband can't be happy.
No, I remember, that stage, and where did I get invited? Somewhere, over in Europe, but like somewhere. Oh, why is the name slipping from me? And these women are amazing. I think it was somewhere maybe in Germany, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 4-letter capital city. Anyway, I'll think of it right after our conversation, I'm sure. But I have some friends who are doing work in that area of like women's groups and stuff. And they were like, come for 2 weeks. And I was like, I can't.
It sounds great. Yeah.
I really want to, but it's like it's 2 plane rides away. And yeah, if I'm doing that like 2 weeks, and yeah, when they're like 5 and under, it's just like everything seems kind of impossible when it comes to that. Now I'm really excited. Like I'd love to travel more and dive into that. And I'm sure you will too, just not when you're having sleep regressions.
Oh my goodness. And I learned it's not a strategy, but I learned something about like actually including my husband in sort of my goals and my artistic career goals. So he's bought in, so that sometimes let's say I want to go to, a gilding conference in South Carolina, it's 4 days. I'll be like, oh, maybe we can bring the kids, and maybe I'm like, where do we find a nanny locally for you, right? But at least he knows what my goals are and why I'm invested in this. So he feels more bought in if we were to do a trip and we just make it a family thing. Same thing with having shows. I saw you exhibited in New York before. Yeah. And so I did that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't bring anyone.
Okay. Yeah, New York is kind of more of a grown-up city, so that's different.
It is. They love it. They came to Montreal last summer and we had a blast. So like not the same, but I wasn't worried about them. I've been to Montreal a lot, and I wanted them to explore that same feeling. And it very much feels like Europe, and it's there's full of culture. So I was glad we went. And that's a long story how we got there in the first place. I had flown out to St. John I was part of a mural fest, and then the marketing company for the city, the tourism and marketing, were like, we'll fly you out. And then I ended up bidding on a trip to Montreal. It's just like one thing after another. But that's the thing, when you take these opportunities and you find a gilding conference or whatever, and you make these connections, these trips are really important. And Jean Oliver gave me some really good advice. She said, if ever like there's points in where you're with a group or need to focus, like go and do that for the 3 or 2 days. Do you? And you're able to focus, because when your family's, to be perfectly honest, when your family's there, you can't focus. You're not fully invested in what's going on, and you need to be. Like, you're invested in your practice, you're invested in yourself. And she said, just have them fly out after. That would be way, way easier than, and honestly, your husband will figure it out.
Yeah.
He likely won't listen to this podcast, but
such a hands-on dad. It's amazing. I can't do what I'm doing without him. That's what I'll say.
That's amazing. So, okay, I want to go back to your process. How many years did you study before you felt a little more confident in sharing it and selling it, etc.?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I started learning water gilding only a year and a half ago. Same with oil painting. Prior to that, I was in technology. And so completely did a 180. I was just, an entrepreneur. I loved building products. I loved, I think building audiences online too. That was part of influencer marketing in 2016, 2017 was the business that I started. I sold it. And then I worked really hard during 2 pregnancies. I had my first baby while I sold my first company. I was literally in the delivery bed when I signed that agreement, so drugged up with everything. And I'm like, okay, baby delivered and physical baby delivered. And then stayed on, worked for 2 more years, had my second kid. And I'm like, you know what? I think I've kind of done enough for now. I've been working for decades nonstop. This whole thing about trying to prove yourself, and I don't know, to myself, to whoever's watching, this idea that I have to check all these boxes.
Absolutely.
So, summer of 2022, my son was born, and I thought, I am tired. Let me try to be a human and a mom first for once.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that's like. And I actually I wouldn't say it's postpartum depression, but I did have to see a therapist because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that transition. And I'd love to know if you went through that too, but I know a lot of moms is like they're corporate ladies or they have job and then very career driven and all of a sudden they have kids and like, wait, who am I? What do I get to do with my time now? Like, and I also just couldn't stay with my baby all day. It's like
Yeah, it's not just like,
yeah.
it's not black and white. There's not one answer, and it's unique to everyone. And I absolutely went through that same shift of like, I didn't start my own company and sell it. Like, that's obviously, like, that would be a lot more difficult because you're so invested in something. But I did have the similar feeling of on second pregnancy, like, don't want to be tied to the 40-hour work week, or for you, for your business. Like, mine was a 40-hour work week plus my creative career, right? Plus parenting one already. So it went from, and for some reason in my second pregnancy, and I've never felt this way in my entire life again, I just like didn't care. I just cared about maybe gardening a little. It was so funny. And it's like something just like switch out. I didn't care about painting. And I was like knee deep in custom orders and like, working 40-hour work weeks. And like, I just like my chill button flicked on and I was just like, I started a garden. I like built some raised beds and was just like waddling around everywhere after another child too. But like, it was, and I was like, I totally let go of that job. And like, I don't want to work for someone else. And it was more of an organic transition, I would say. And like, and then after third child, I was like, I remember saying to my neighbor, we have a great neighborhood full of kids and lots of boys. And she works a ton as well. And I was like, I'm really sick of staying at home.
Yes.
Like, I've done it for 8 years. 8 years now, like almost a decade. Like, I can't watch people's kids that are running around with my own kids and all that. Like, plus running my art career, but like there was like two very big dynamic shifts where I was like, I'm back in business. That's what like flicked on. Like, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a community. I want to XYZ.
How long did that take after your second or third?
That was my third. Yeah, like second to third, I was definitely like knee deep in parenthood.
Okay. And then how many years after your third did you switch back?
I would say Teddy was almost 2, I think, and he's really busy, like really like got to keep him alive busy. Do you have 2 boys?
My girl's 5 and my boy is 2, and he is like the Hulk. He runs into everything. He's fearless. I'm so tired.
Sorry. Yeah. So times that by 3, and it's just like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. My niece always comes over and she's like, "What kind of art are we gonna make?" And I'm like, and then she'll sit there for like 2 hours and make art with me, and I'm like, oh. Yeah. So it's depends on your child, but in general, like there's a difference. A big generalization. Yeah, it was just like, okay, so I'm still a full-time parent. Teddy's just going into grade 1. I'm home with him all summer, balancing all of this stuff. But like, it was like, I want to do murals. I want to do community work. I want these big contracts and jobs again. For me, like my husband always says, you're doing too much. You got to give something up. And I was like, well, it won't be the stuff I'm doing for me. That's for sure.
This is, oh my gosh. So that's exactly what he said to me too. It's like, sometimes I'm stressed and I wear it on my sleeves, right? I get a little grumpy, or I just like, I don't know. He comes home from work, and then I'm just kind of a one-word person. And then he'll say, well,
tapped out, the 4:30 tap out.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, it seemed like you put too much pressure on yourself. You don't have to do that. I'm like, actually, I do. It's part of my identity. Progress and achievement is what I need for myself. I'm not proving it for anyone anymore. Like
Mm.
we're done with that. But now it's just my own fulfillment and my reason.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Which, like, yes, you're painting. Yes, it's fun. And that's maybe what society doesn't fully grasp or understand is like, I love my job and I'm passionate about it, but it does come along with like stresses, and it comes along with business mindset, and which you already have the tool set for, it sounds like, and growth. And maybe it doesn't have to be like fully scalable like your other business was, but like you also want to do well in your field,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You want to feel like, I mean, it's kind of like my parents told me if I want to be a starving artist. So this is what happened. Okay, let me say that again. When I was little, I loved drawing. I would just sit there. I was one of those little girls who would sit there and draw for hours. I would draw people, I draw pretty outfits. I was 4 years old, and I remember my mom said she can take me to a meeting because I'll just sit there by myself and draw. And I told my parents, I want to be an artist. And that's what
Yeah.
they said, well, how about you go and do something else first, and then you can do that. And so to me, it's like, okay, now fast forward, I'm 40. I finally earned the right to be an artist. Like I worked
Right.
for it.
Which kind of sucks. Like it really it like I'm sure you were very accomplished and that was great, but why?
Yeah.
Why did you have to like do
But
20 years of,
yeah. Yeah.
even
So
though it's good.
I was struggling with that. And let me tell you, Brandi, I'm going through so many transitions right now. So to that point, right, for a long time, I was like, Mom, imagine, if I was just on the artist path, I went to art school, da, 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 I would be so much more accomplished as an artist. Now you're happy that I'm an artist. Like we should live up to our highest potential, whatnot. But then at the same time, as I'm honing my craft, I realize, how they talk about what's your voice, like what's your message as an artist, why do you paint? And a lot of the reason why I do it is because I understand the grit and hard work of my other life that I put into 2-3 decades of. And so without that, I wouldn't have this type of discipline maybe to do gilding.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be painting strong woman. Maybe I'd be doing abstract art or something else. I don't know. But everything, they say everything happens for a reason. It's because of that led me to this path. Now that I'm an artist, I can display what I've learned in my life, which is not the artistic route, the tech, the business, but also a lot of grit and hard work. And that's in my paintings. So anyway, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm thankful for that too. So
I think at 40, we have more of a voice than we ever have had, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And also as a mom, like, I wanted to paint a painting that's titled Mother or Mom. I feel like it's so hard. I don't know. I just can't. I don't want to just do like a mom holding a baby. It's like it's so much. It's good, bad, and ugly. It's messy, but it's beautiful. It's chaos. I don't like that's the hardest painting for me to like even concept wise, like what to
Yeah.
on canvas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I know I was obsessed with Serena Williams like Vogue photo shoot when
Yeah.
she was 3 months pregnant. I was just like, this is pure power.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Powerful.
yeah.
It's grounding as powerful. It's inspiring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like so tired, but like so fulfilling at the same time. Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about that too. Like a lot of your experience obviously goes into your practice. So like you maybe wouldn't have experienced that same like success so soon, you know what I mean? Like, and what is the definition of success? It's different for everyone. But like the Martha documentary, like all of those things led to, like, she didn't start her stardom stuff till 40 or like later. And like she was in investing. She worked at an investment firm and did all of these things that led to, people can say what they say about her, but she's a genius.
Yeah.
You know, she might be a mean genius. So what? Like,
Yeah.
That's a business. She has a business mind. She accomplished it and no one else. And her perfectionism and her level of accomplishment and how she viewed her life. If she was a man, no one would have questioned any of those things. And in fact, she probably wouldn't have went to jail either.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Martha documentary. I'm glad you brought that up. That, and also, you know, Jeff Koons used to work on Wall Street before he became an artist. And I think for me, what I've been observing is the most important thing is you keep reinventing yourself. There's no,
sorry, don't eat my bowl of spaghetti. Sorry, my husband just came up for lunch and I didn't have time to eat the spaghetti from the microwave and now he's trying to eat it. So
no, off limits.
That's what her life is. Okay, sorry. Go back to what you were saying.
Oh, so we're talking about different stages of life. And one thing that I noticed is realized and observed is there's no such thing as made it forever. You can achieve a level of success that you're happy with in a certain time. But if you just sit there, there's, you know, you sort of just go down, right? And so you have to think about what's the next step, what's next, and always be sort of progressing forward in order to keep making it, if that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like you also, it's like, again, like from right at the beginning, nothing is black and white at all. Mm-hmm. And like, what Mark Manson says, everything sucks some of the time. So that successful milestone that you hit, say for me, like I've suffered burnout a lot, but like specifically a huge project, which I like visualized for 2 years, almost stopped, failed, whatever, but it ended up like biggest contract I've ever landed, 3,000 square foot mural. Didn't know how to drive a lift, I had never hired a team before, all of these things. So then we do this and it's amazing and it meant a lot for our community and it felt good the whole time. And this happened, that happened. And like, I burnt out for like a month and a half after, because you're like, wow, I hit that goal.
Yeah.
And okay, so you did it. And I talked to Jenna Kutcher. Do you know who that is? Like the Gold Digger podcast?
I've heard, yes.
Yeah. So I asked her about that too on her podcast. I was on her podcast and I don't think she didn't have an answer, because she does the same thing. She makes these big things and she hits them because that's what we do. And so what I think and what I've tried to cope with like, you know, because you will burn out and you do keep going and it is a part of our personalities. But I have every day worked to see the like extraordinary in this small everyday things, because you do have to sit in like, okay, I have this gorgeous house and I've done all the landscaping and I see the apple trees have grown times 10, and like sit in it.
Yeah.
Like sit in the growth you've created, figuratively and physically and literally around you. Mm-hmm. Like if you're not sitting in it for a bit every day, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. And I think it comes with experience to start appreciating that sitting in the moment, because, you know, it's cyclical. You know, you've been at this rough patch before, the burnout patch before, you know, you're going to come out of that and you're going to be okay. But that takes experience and time to remember, oh yeah, I've been here and I'm going to be okay. And also I think for those who do have kids probably know this too. I look at my kids and I'm at peace. Like they're not peaceful, but I'm at peace.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like, well, these kids, they love me, you know, and they're my angels. And I'm so happy.
And you've made the decision and created the opportunity for yourself to have the choice. Mm-hmm. So that's really important, because you see these things about women and like some women don't have the choice.
Yeah.
They're working nights, they're
My God.
working whatever, or you had the ability and the wherewithal and the opportunity to have your degree, start your business, whatever you did, whatever your path was, and you had the choice and you made it, and that's okay for you, and it's not the same for everyone. But you get to be in those moments, and it's okay to say that you're tired from them and that they're exhausting, but you also get to be present and they love you, and you, right? Like you created that opportunity, and that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And I think it's just, I think about how fortunate I am to be able to sit in my studio and do this, and be able to be my authentic self, if you will, to pour on the canvas and not have to commercialize or like do what someone, paint someone else's idea. I think that's a great privilege.
And it probably came with like your training as a business owner, and marketing. And
so that's interesting, because actually I'm going to ask you, because you're a much more seasoned artist than I am, in terms of paths of artists, right? Because I hear there's like, oh, you want to get signed by a gallery, you want to exhibit, but there are so many different ways artists can make it, right? And so that's why I'm excited to be in this world, in a sense, just like having an entrepreneurial spirit. I can create my own paths and then build a concoction that works the best for my lifestyle. And so I guess I'd love to hear, how did you create yours? What was yours like? And, because you do so many things with your community, you do a lot of things that are meaningful with education. And I think that's absolutely by design. So how did you arrive?
I like how you called it a concoction.
Yeah.
Because it is.
Yeah.
It's a secret concoction for every person. No, my sister always says, she's like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I can't keep up to, and that's okay. And I think ADHD is a superpower. It's a creative superpower where you know what you're doing. And some of it works out and some of it doesn't. Okay. So I think if you sit with your intuition, and I know everyone's like, these are hokey words, but if you sit with your intuition and your gut and your mind and your heart, and you know that it's all connected, I think you can pretty much intuitively choose your path or create it with whatever you're doing in your life, no matter how broad that statement is. And if it's not working out, don't do it anymore. Or maybe you have to try a little bit harder or get through this rough stage. And so if you want to be represented by a gallery, make sure your contract is a good contract in regard to that. I would never sign away my full selling potential with a gallery, meaning I would still be selling my own art. I would still take custom orders on my own through them for sure, if that's a route. And then you negotiate on the price. I would never go 50-50 anymore. I would never, ever say yes to that contract. Just because we have the ability and the choice now, which is kind of a unique shift, which was happening. And I remember talking to my art consultant about it, I think in 2018 or 2019. And she's like, your custom work is amazing. I don't even know how you're getting those, whatever, portraits. And I'm really prolific. So she's like, you work quickly and let's just go with that. And then I hit a point where my prices weren't high enough, and I did 130 pieces in 1 year, and I was totally burnt out. And that inspired the shift for the book, the podcast, and all these other, like, let's try murals, basically throwing spaghetti at a door and seeing what sticks. And like prints on Amazon didn't stick because obviously they undersell prints at a ridiculously cheap, high, production. Like, you'll never, like, I knew some people who were successful at it, but they had already been doing it 5 years, and they were in unique situation, right? So some things work for some people. They don't that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. Right. So that goes back to the gut thing. Like, would my work translate well into murals? Do I want to do that? Do I like physicality of murals? And if I don't know, I'm going to ask Brandi because she's already done it. Right. What would it take to, or reach out to whoever you think, because some people will answer and you can make friends with them and it's awesome. I had Karen Sue on. She just did a 30,000 square foot mural in Taiwan and on her uncle's building. And it was like,
that's amazing.
How?
Yeah.
How? So like I was jealous a little. And then, like that's
I feel
human.
like your neck would hurt. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a lot of neck straightening.
And then like, obviously that's a tough project to pull off. Like, but it was cool for her. And so instead of like, because a comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Yeah.
So instead I reach out to Karen. Hey, Karen, I see, like, I asked her some questions about her sidewalks. She also does the simple things, right? Simple sidewalk murals with tempera paint, and they're gorgeous. And then she does medium-sized murals. So back to your like initial question is you're likely not having an income that is coming from one or two things. It's likely coming from like 8 to 12. And some projects are bigger and some are medium and some are small. And a lot of successful artists just show themselves doing the art. And I know that they have a marketing team. They're on YouTube. Their husband runs their video. They're not just selling art.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did, and when I asked them about that, they hated it. They hated selling art through a gallery. It killed their creative soul.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's no like exact right answer, but we all have the ability to ask the people who are doing these things and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I love your story about the murals and how you thought about doing print and then sort of testing and learning to see what makes sense. For me, I came in here with a sort of like a hypothesis. I did not want to just go gallery because I thought that's very, it's too traditional for who I am. Yes, I do want the gallery validation and say, yes, she's legit. She's, so, okay, fine. Do that for credentials. But what I'm really interested in is, fashion partnerships or brand partnerships or, portraits of women that I respect or some of my peers. I just did actually a painting of Dr. Kiara King. She's an OBGYN here in Chicago, and she's a friend of mine. And I just really wanted to paint her because I feel like she embodies that powerful, hardworking, iconic woman. An icon is not a celebrity in my mind. I mean, sure. It's not a deity celebrity. It's more just anyone is an icon in their own right. But to me, I'm highlighting the ones that really are meaningful in my life. So she's one of them. And then some other friends are on my list too that I want to do portraits of. And before I, actually paint, I have an hour conversation with them. Just I have a list of questions to actually get to know them better. And so when I paint, I feel like I bring out certain sides of them that maybe they didn't even see or they forget, but I'm able to observe from just like an artist or a friend's perspective. That gives me so much joy and reward. And I actually did like a revealing to her, like, I'm going to paint it. I'm not going to show you the progress. I'm not going to tell you which, photo I'm going to paint from. I like made up her outfit.
Yeah, never show people custom artwork processes.
No.
Definitely, that's the worst.
Well, it sounds like you have a story there.
It's just so I've done so much custom art, but it's unique. Like every one of those journeys is certainly unique, but mostly good.
Yeah.
Mostly good. Yeah.
But she lit up and she's like, oh, you chose pink. She's more of like a red, green, like bold color person. But I'm like, I get this very soft feminine energy from you that I feel like that's something that's who you are fundamentally, but like you probably don't like show as much. And she's like, you know what? That's very good. I do have that, in me. And so it kind of like brings out this other side that reminds her that that's who I am inside. And that's incredibly rewarding to me as an artist. And so I feel like I want to do more commission portraits and brand deals, like these non-traditional ways of doing things. And this is, entrepreneurs, right? That's what we do. We carve our own way. We pitch ourselves. We kind of have to have a lot of thick.
And that's a thing.
Yeah.
These jobs, these big jobs that we're talking about, like, I don't think maybe. Okay, so when I got flown out to St. John for the marketing conference, that came because I went to a mural festival and I tagged the tourism company.
Oh.
So these things, like, so rarely does someone just show up and be like, oh, hey, like that does happen every once in a while. Not often, but it only happens because of some sort of domino effect, right? And these big contracts that you're talking about, they're like reach outs, they're contacts, they're, like, yes, you're right. We carve our own paths, and no, you have to ask for it. This is your business and your life and your creative career.
Yeah.
And the worst thing someone's going to say to you is no. So then you just you forget and move on. Like for me,
and that's okay because they haven't figured out how to partner with you yet, right?
Be really understanding and professional, and be kind,
So I'll tell you a story. I really wanted to partner with this jewelry brand in Chicago. They're a premier jewelry store. And I had a PR team help me write an email, beautiful email, and then looked for contacts, their marketing contact, their concierge contact, nothing. Okay. They've been opening the emails, you can see, but no. And so until one day, my daughter goes to Chinese school, and the principal of the school talked about her friend who happened to be the owner of that jewelry company.
What?
It's just like, but then, at that moment, I was like, okay, should I say something or should I not say something? And then it's just, gosh, I want to be thick-skinned, and I'm going to say, would you be willing to make an intro? Because I mean, it's sometimes things are aligned for a reason, and such coincidences are meant for you to sort of move on. And so I actually met with the woman and had a nice hi.
Oh yeah, that's Teddy.
Hi.
My little blondies. I'm so dark and they're all so blonde.
Sweet. He's 5'6".
He's 5, yeah.
Okay.
He's turning 6 in September, but yeah.
Oh, so cute.
No, it's funny. Okay, so I had Billy Ray Busby on, and she talked about art dates and coffees just like that. And she's like, sometimes they're organic, like I'm not looking to get something out of someone. It's like, but these are important. Like take yourself out to openings, put yourselves in these situations, and not only ask like send the emails, but also ask the universe for it. And like for some reason it doesn't work out the way you plan at all.
Yeah.
But it like you just like someone was there. Like what are the odds of that happening?
Yeah. And then so the PR people were saying, yeah, we haven't heard back from their marketing team. I was like, oh, I'm having coffee with the owner tomorrow. It's okay.
I actually did it myself already.
But then it's like, if it's just lined up for you, you kind of have to take it, like, I'm gonna be so brave and just going to ask for that intro.
Okay, so I have these things and they're called Be Brave Days. And in my book, it's a chapter in my book. And It is. It's like the days where you feel more confident, you feel like the birds are chirping, the sun is shining. Like those don't come around all the time, especially with kids.
When
So
you're
like
5, that doesn't happen.
send the email, ask for the opportunity, make sure you make your lists too, right? And then like have the people you want to reach out to. And on those days, fire with that momentum.
Yeah.
Right? Like fire it all. Put it out there, and then you'll forget because you're so busy and you have kids and you're doing your creative career that like 3 months later you'll get a weird call or email and they'll be like, "Oh, hey," and I'll be like, "I forgot I did that."
Yeah.
Awesome. I am coming to France to teach.
Oh,
Yeah, no, right? Like
yeah.
stuff like that. Like
that's such a good idea.
I have some new goals for my practice. And like I've been seeing other muralists doing things and that like jealousy again sneaks in and I have to keep reminding myself, I'm like, you put out there that you wanted this transition and that you have new goals and those are happening because you put it in. So just like cheer on your friends doing the murals because you don't want like, you still have to remind yourself, you still have to ask for them, you still have to. That's a daily constant thing. How do you set your goals personally, especially with your experience in the business world? Like how do you deal with that, especially with the busyness of hold on, I'm just gonna talk to Ted. He said mom a lot. What's up, buddy?
I want you to go to TV because my iPad isn't working.
Okay, we're actually gonna go like in a few minutes. So I'll be right there.
Can I still watch YouTube on TV?
No, but I'll be right there. They're pushing for YouTube hard, and I'm like, no.
Oh,
wow. So,
yeah.
Well, so I want to hear about. Yes, we have like 5 more minutes. I honestly could talk to. I'm sad that I have to go because I feel like I could talk to you for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, of course, I understand. And thank you for your time. Even though you have to watch your 3 kids today. So I think we were talking about setting goals. I think for my first year of really being out here, for me, I'm just trying to see what works, what goes, like what flows the most for me. So I have had several gallery shows and I did sign with a gallery recently that will be announced soon. I'm, working on a show for end of August. I'm doing commissions as well. And so I'm trying to see what makes the most sense in terms of time. Time is the most important to me. And also, of course, let's talk about revenue, right? That's important to me too. Even though, what I'm making now is not, where I was making before, but there could be potential. How I get there.
With partnerships and contracts.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have that all mapped out like a business plan yet because I don't know what works yet. I don't know how long, a partnership can take, to land a sale and to actually execute. That's, I'm giving myself the first probably 1 to 3 years to experiment and see what works. And then I'll say, okay, out of these 10 things, these 5 are good for my lifestyle. And it gives me the maximum, like, let's say revenue per se, if that's important to me. Then I'll double down on those. And so I would say, talk to me in 2028, and then I'll have a better idea and say, okay, now I know what 5 things work for me. This is how I'm going to scale. And like 10 years later, this is what I want to hit in terms of numbers. But at the same time, with me being more mature now, I realize maybe 10 years later, I want to go back in business, or I might want to do something else.
It may change.
Yeah, it may change. So,
or I've made thousands of artworks and I'll sell prints.
Now I just want to travel and my kids are old enough, I don't know.
That's the thing with the seasons of kids. Like all of a sudden, so I did a mural fest, which I almost didn't do because I was so tired and I burnt out a ton. And I kept getting sick in the winter, which it's really, you guys get cold winters too, but we get like really cold winters where I live. And so like, it's tough mentally. and all 3 of my kids are in hockey. So you're not at the extracurricular stage, but just wait. That people are insane. People are absolutely, I'm like, what are you guys all doing? Do you not have like lives, businesses, and goals? Yeah. Like I actually don't care about my 7-year-old's hockey game.
Yeah.
Like I care and I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
And I hope they have fun.
Yeah.
But whether they score a goal or the team wins, like 0 cares.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so let's talk again. Like, let's keep in touch. And you'll be like, Brandi, you were right. People are completely mental. Like they are so out. Anyway, but while I was at this festival, my husband like got a plot of land and now we're building a cabin and I'm ripping apart a trailer.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Literally kind of. But like you don't know. This one I did not see coming, admittedly. Like I kind of like ask for things a lot that are ridiculous. So I can't like be mad at him for doing the same thing. But he literally he said, this is what I want to do. And I said, this festival is going to be over in 4 days where I'm running a team of 27. Right? Like just give it, just we put a pin in it. Right? And no, he just did it.
Oh my God.
And so now, Shirley, I have over my fence here on the rocks a 31-foot trailer that's going on this land while we build a cabin. Like,
gosh.
So, and then my brain goes to, like, my business brain goes to, how do I capture this and monetize it? Right?
Yeah.
Which people love DIY. But do I want to, I know how much content creation and the time takes and the branding and all this stuff. I'm like stress cracking right now. Like we don't know. But like, and I know it will be extremely difficult, but I also like peeled off a sticker on the trailer and now it's fully sanded and ripped apart and gutted.
Oh my goodness. Make sure you put it just like video and then what do you call it in the background so you can do a whole
I have a folder on my phone like because I have I just capture on this. It's great. It's one of the terabyte new ones. Like you don't honestly for content creation you don't need all the cameras, stuff that we like sound maybe if I was a real YouTuber, but anyway it's there if I feel inspired to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You just don't know where life is going to take you. And with our maturity and your business level of experience, at least we have the choice now. Like we have the maturity. We're not super mature, but we're mature enough that I'm going to choose to. And you said in 10 years, I might not want to do this anymore. You have the choice and the wherewithal, and you did the financial work.
Yeah.
Like, you have the wherewithal and the ability where you're like, I can feel this out and I have the knowledge and confidence to know that I want it to be financially feasible for my passion right now in this part of my life as a mother. I want to give XYZ for time because it is my most precious commodity to my family, my husband, my children. Mm-hmm. And I'm not willing to sacrifice this.
Yes.
Yes. So I think the more we talk about it as women, the more we empower other women to have these opportunities of this power of choice. So actually, I want to stop there. Unless you have something you want to say about that.
Oh, no,
I'd love to hear your perspective, but I'd actually love to have you back in a follow-up conversation specifically on that topic because I think it's a really important, important one.
I think just like a sentence with what you just said there was, to me, it's about sitting firmly in your own power. We're not performing anymore. Just like when you had your second pregnancy, you're like, I'm not doing those commissions. I'm not, you know what? I feel so free. I just can't be bothered. And same with me. It's like when I hit 40, that's really, and my second child, that's when I'm just like, I just want to be true to myself and sit firm in my power. That doesn't mean I have to be a career woman. It means I need to be true to myself and be a responsible mom and wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good for you. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, in one of our courses, in my custom artwork course for education, in my education platform online, literally I have I said literally a lot in this conversation. And every time I said it, I was like, you said it again. I have 2 pages on professional ways of saying no.
Oh, great.
Because I did hit burnout doing custom orders. So for you, like, that's going to be important. Like, and I think you already know this as one sec. Oh, so close to being done. Important thing in knowing from the beginning, and you probably know this as a business person, but professional and kind ways of saying, or this person's the right for you, or can you wait 6 months, or whatever. So having the pricing done, or saying no and passing it off if it's not the right fit. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to focus with kids. And yeah, pricing time and stuff like that will be really important. I love that it's calling to you, because I think you'll do really well with your custom orders and you'll have really great contracts. And I love that you're putting it out there. So, and I can't wait to see who you paint.
Yay!
Will be really cool. So I'm excited for you at the cusp in the beginning of your creative career. So let's stay in touch and we will chat soon. And feel free to message or email or whatever anytime. I love voice messages over Instagram. So
Love it.
Yeah, it was very nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
Okay, take care, Shirley.
Take care. Bye.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandi Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.